Roundup on Infinity Radio. Every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m.
Yes. Welcome back from that very short break, and of course you're still listening to Infinity Radio, and of course you can listen to us via our website, which is www.infinityug.com. This is the weekly news roundup with Bolibo Moses and my colleague
Don Angel,
and of course we are always here on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay, now let's take you through the business sector news. The EVP, Executive Vice President Mrs. Kanayo Awani, Intra-African Trade and Export Development at Afrexim Bank, speaking at Mining Indaba in Cape Town, South Africa. These news were captured on 13th of Feb 2025. That Africa's critical minerals are a definite pathway to the continent's industrial development, social upliftment, and economic prosperity. Mrs. Kanayo Awani, EVP, Intra-African Trade and Export Development Bank at African Export-Import Bank, told delegates at the recently concluded African Mining Indaba 2025 in Cape Town, South Africa. Delivering a speech on the theme, Redefining Critical Minerals, Mrs. Awani envisioned a future where Africa's mineral wealth empowers its people and drives sustainable development. She noted that while the continent abounded in mineral resources and accounted for about 30% of all global mineral reserves, it had not benefited from those resources due to inadequate infrastructure, unclear national policy directions, environmental and social challenges, poor investment decisions, and lack of financing. She also said the paradox lies in the fact that whilst our continent is a treasure trove of resources, the benefits of these resources often flow outside our borders, leaving local communities and economies deprived. She also continued, for a continent that is endowed with such vast quantities of natural resources, the state of development across its length and breadth remains a puzzle. Mrs. Awani noted that many African countries currently extract minerals and export raw materials without substantial value addition, leaving the continent lingering at the lower rungs of global value chains and constraining economic benefits, arguing that to fully tap into the new commercial opportunity, Africa needed to significantly increase investments in value addition and processing capacity so that countries could export finished or semi-finished goods, thereby enhancing the continent's position in global value chains. This is all about the minerals in Africa.
Yeah, I agree.
We have had so many cases where people come from outside countries in form of tourists. They come in Africa saying they have come to tour, to go to the national parks, to go to the nationals, to the zoos, to look at our resources, our animals, our wildlife, but majorly they are focusing on the minerals in our land. The minerals, and of which most of the people in our countries do not know that the ground we are stepping on has
a lot of minerals.
A lot of those precious stones down in the ground. But you just come to realize that those European countries have high levels of technology. They come with their methods that do what? Detect those important metals in the ground. Someone just comes with a device, presses it on the ground, and detects that down maybe how many feet there is what? There is gold. Now for them, they just come in form of, maybe we have come to tour this institution, maybe we've come to this park to look at our animals, we love your nature, we love this, our weather, the other side is not good, yet they are targeting our minerals.
Yeah, and of course here we have a message from my very good friend Hafashimana Asim, is saying, well done team. Thank you so much, my brother Hafashimana, for listening in to Infinity Radio, and of course the weekly news roundup. Angel, like you've just said that, you know, Africa has not done enough. We Africans have not done enough to harness the many resources and minerals that we have here on the continent. Why? Because you can attribute you to ignorance. We are ignorant of those minerals, and the other thing is we are limited in terms of technology and the knowledge of about how to harness those minerals and resources. But compared to our foreign brothers and sisters who come into the continent, to inform and in a disguise of tourism and teachers and all that, for them they have technology and all those tools. Their technology is very advanced. So when they come, they will pretend to be what they are not, and they will take away our minerals.
Now, the biggest issue is that our land is fruitful, it has those resources, but they do not benefit us. They benefit the people outside our borders.
Yeah, and of course, President Museveni has on several occasions said this. Anyway, I was going to say that I may disagree with President Museveni on many things, but here I agree with him. He said that Africa, we should be able to, we should not be exporting raw materials to those countries, Western countries, but we should be exporting finished goods, even the minerals. He said that we should do, like for example, in Uganda we have oil. He said that we should process that oil here from Uganda and then take it to those foreign countries when it is processed and ready to use.
Yeah,
but
finished
not to
or
take it,
semi-finished.
not to take it to those countries and then they process it and bring back to Uganda and sell it to us at a very higher price.
Moreover, or they just even bring the fake ones.
Yeah, yet it
because
is from
because
Uganda,
those people
yeah.
have high levels of technology.
Yeah.
They can duplicate anything.
Yeah,
If they can duplicate the food we eat, and you find here we eat real meat, the other side they will just make it in the laboratory and they send it and
then
we
send
eat
it
it and we
back.
feel like we are eating real meat.
yeah,
Then what about the gold reserves and silver and all that?
yeah.
They can duplicate them and send them to our country.
Yet it is from your country.
And
They
yet
take
it is
it, they
from our
duplicate
country.
it, and sell it to you at a very higher price.
Yes.
Yet if you had done it yourselves, if you had processed those minerals and those items yourselves, you would be consuming them at a very lower price, but selling it to them at a much higher price, hence bringing revenue to your respective countries and economies.
Now, of course, according to this vice president, she was majorly emphasizing on these African countries. How are they supposed to manage their resources?
Yeah,
How are they supposed to make sure that their countries, like that value like the value in Uganda, in the resources we have in Uganda, how are we supposed to maintain it to make sure, even if we are to export outside the country, we are not just giving them, like, for them to process it and then they bring it back for us.
yeah,
The value has to stay within the country.
yeah.
That was her major issue.
Yeah, and if I think it is something President Museveni has for years, not for years, but at least for this time, for the past 4 years or 3, the thing that he has, consistently said, even when he went to those African Union meetings,
Yeah.
even when he has visited Kenya, I have seen him say it. Even when he has visited what country, he has always said it, value addition. You should be able to process whatever you have from your country and then export it to foreign countries when it is already finished good and commodity.
Okay.
That way you are not going to be exploited and you are not going to be kicked out of market, and you are not, those players are not going to dictate for you what you should do with your product.